with Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I'll continue reading from this next paragraph. Is my voice very low? I cannot hear you, Prabhu.
Voice is okay. I just wanted to understand little more of yesterday's reading before we start today's reading. Can I tell?
Yes, sure, Prabhu.
Yesterday we read it that Shankaracharya is actually the incarnation of Lord Shiva. But I just wanted to understand that what is the purpose behind preaching the imperfect interpretation of Vedas by Shankaracharya? What was the purpose actually?
Okay. Actually, what was happening, I will mute everyone so that there is no echo or noise. So, at different times, the Lord has either descended himself or has sent um, his associates or there are incarnations in order to establish dharma. And we know that. So, the time when Shankaracharya was sent actually, and before that also we see that Krishna, the Supreme Lord, came as incarnated as Lord Buddha. So at that time, people were misusing these Vedas and they were not accepting the actual interpretation, the direct interpretation. Rather, at that time also, they were concocting it and misusing certain parts of the Vedas or the Vedanta Sutra, all these scriptures, in order to fulfill their selfish motives. So sacrifice is written, therefore they were doing mass slaughtering, and there was extreme level of the compassion amongst people had gone to almost zero. So therefore the Lord himself incarnated as Buddha, and then he rejected the Vedas because using the Vedas people were doing this. So now after Buddha, there came a time when people rejected the Vedas completely. They rejected the school of thought that there is a higher power. So this is not, this is not happening exactly back to back, like in a day or two. It is over a period of time that, okay, first they were misusing this Vedas in order to fulfill their selfish motives. Then the Lord came as Buddha, rejected the Vedas. Now, no Vedas, therefore, now they stop believing in a higher power and all atheists. So, again, that is also demoniac. Therefore, in order to introduce the Vedas, that no, Vedas has to be taken, but in a concocted way, because up, if we see that if somebody is in a mentality that there is no higher power, everybody is atheist, and they don't want to believe in any higher power, and suddenly if this class grade 12th syllabus is being taught to a third grade student, a student who is in grade 3 is being taught the syllabus of grade 12, that there is not simply a higher power, but the higher power has a form. This is the form, these are the activities, this is what we should do. People will definitely not accept it. Therefore, to systematically introduce this process, this highest knowledge, to systematically introduce this highest platform in the society, amongst the people, the Lord has either descended himself or sent his empowered incarnations or his associates or his dear devotees like Lord Shiva. So the purpose was that let us first establish the Vedic literature, and then Vedic literature, of course, concocted that okay, impersonalism first, let them within their selfish, within their demoniac atheistic viewpoint only, but Vedas has been introduced. So, okay, you want to believe that you are God? Yes, you can continue believing you are God, but while you are believing this, let us respect the scriptures. So, the scriptures again were reinstated. And after the scriptures were reinstated, and then from there on, the next level has to be taken. So, that was the reason why this was done. Is that clear, Prabhu? Uh, you are on mute, Prabhu. I can't hear you.
Yes, yes. It is now very clear to me. I have got you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj. So, we'll begin with our today's reading. Yes. Actually, in pure consciousness, the living entity understands himself as the eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That is pure consciousness. Our consciousness is clear. There is no kachra in the consciousness. Therefore, it is pure. And therefore, the living entity is able to see things as it is able to understand everything as it is. As it is means as it should be understood, as it should be seen. If there is a tree, but I have cataract in my eyes, then instead of the tree, I will see a black spot. I will think it is a mountain. That is illusion. Under the spell of illusion, a person accepts the gross and subtle bodies as his self. Such a conception is the basis of the doctrine of transference from spirit to matter. This is the doctrine of transference from spirit to matter. Spirit is the spirit soul. Matter is the gross body. But in this, under the spell of illusion, what happens? The person thinks that this gross and the subtle bodies as his self. Subtle bodies also means the mind, intelligence, ego. That is also subtle layer. That conception is the basis. It becomes the foundation of this doctrine that spirit to matter has got transferred. But the part and parcel of the Supreme is not eternally subjected to gross and subtle bodily life. Part and parcel of Supreme is what part? It is that spirit part, the spiritual part, the soul. Soul is eternal, soul is spiritual. And it is not always subjected to this gross and subtle bodily life. The gross and subtle coverings do not comprise the living entity's eternal form. That means this gross body that we have is not eternal. At the same time, part and parcel of the Supreme is equal to what? The spirit soul. The spirit soul is also not eternally subjected to gross and subtle bodily life. So it also gets the time when it goes to the spiritual world. And so it is not eternally subjected. As soon as it becomes pure, it will go to the spiritual world. So it is not that it is eternally subjected in now you stay here only. It is not like that. Because part and parcel of the Supreme, as soon as it becomes clean, it will go back to its original spiritual form, not this gross and subtle bodily life. The gross and subtle coverings do not comprise the living entity's eternal form. They can be changed, or the living entity can be freed entirely from material existence. While the living entity is under the illusion that he is the body and the mind, however, he has certainly transferred his position from spirit to matter. When somebody starts thinking or accepting that I am this body and I am this mind, that means there is a shift that in his position. From that spiritual level, or from that spirit, he has got transferred to matter because he is identifying himself with matter. Therefore, there is a transfer. Many times, no, not many times. See, the people in the material concept of life who are not in Krishna consciousness, who have never heard all this knowledge that we are hearing now, you know, because our great fortune has been created by Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, we are hearing all this knowledge and able to understand. But if we just take ourselves back to some 20 years, by 20 years, even few years back, okay, because everybody has come in different timelines. They have come into this process, Krishna consciousness. They met devotees, and then they heard about all this, that we are not the body, we are the spirit, soul, all that. So if we see ourselves only just few years back, before we came to Krishna consciousness, we were also considering that yes, we are the body and the mind. Okay, now we understand that we are not the body and the mind, but still it is so difficult to actually practically apply this. But at least we know, theoretically we understand that okay, we are not the mind and body. But previously we considered ourselves to be the mind and body, which means if a thought comes in the mind, we simply relate ourselves with that thought. If there is a thought that I'm feeling hungry, we don't really consider that am I really hungry or not. My mind has said I'm hungry, I'm hungry. If my mind says I want to do this, I feel that it is me who is thinking I want to do this. We relate with it and we do that. As our consciousness develops, as our awareness develops, as we become little more, what is that? A little more uh, uh, conscious, basically, more aware, we understand okay, thoughts will come in our mind because we have been conditioned for so many lifetimes. So there can be so many thoughts coming in our mind, but we should not relate ourselves with the thought that I am this thought. No, just because a thought has come, it is not necessary that I have to accept this thought. With our intelligence, we have to scrutinize whether this thought should be accepted or not. That is why there is intelligence also. Otherwise, what is the use of intelligence? We are such servants of our mind and body that anything mind thinks, body runs to do it. In between, there is intelligence also, which is higher than mind, and we should use that very, very intelligently to understand that okay, this thought is coming. Maybe the thought is that in my mind a thought has come that I'm judging someone. Immediately, if I have practiced well, if I've heard from bona fide persons, then based on that practice, I will be able to use my intelligence to tell my mind that shut up. This is not right. Please keep quiet. Why are you judging the person? And immediately I will take an action. I will start apologizing to Krishna that, in my mind, this thought came. Please protect me and please protect my mind so that I can be away from these kind of thoughts. So I have separated myself from my mind. I am not the mind. In the mind, millions of thoughts will come. Anything can come. But if I become servant of the mind, that means I'm still at a very, very basic level. I have to bring myself up. Mind says ki nahi, aaj man nahi kara. I don't want to do the class. Okay, yes, I am my mind. Let us sleep. That means I have become servant to the mind. Mind is saying that no, I don't feel like doing the class. Intelligence will say, you keep your mouth shut. Let me do the class. That is intelligence. That is separating myself from the mind. So the gross and subtle coverings do not comprise the living entity's eternal form. They can be changed, or the living entity can be freed completely from the material existence. When the living entity is under the illusion that he is the body and mind, however, then he has certainly transferred his position from spirit to matter. Mayavadi philosophers, taking advantage of this doctrine of transference, say that the living entity is under the wrong impression when he thinks himself to be part and parcel of the Supreme. They maintain that the living entity is the Supreme himself. This doctrine cannot be tenable. They consider that, okay, spirit to matter, the living entities, they can get transferred from spirit to matter. So therefore, they use this doctrine and they say, ki, nahi, nahi, we are not part and parcel of the Supreme. Supreme is not separate and we are not separate. We are ourselves only the Supreme. So there is no question of being part and parcel. This is what the Mayavadis think. The Bhattacharya then asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain the famous Atmaram verse, for he desired to hear it from the Lord himself. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied that first of all, the Bhattacharya should explain the verse according to his own understanding, and then Lord Chaitanya would explain it. The Bhattacharya then began to explain the Atmaram Shloka using his methods of logic and grammar, the way he had learned, the way he understood it. Thus, he explained the Atmaram Shloka in 9 different ways. The Lord appreciated his erudite scholarship in explaining the verse and said, "My dear Bhattacharya, I know that you are a personal manifestation of the learned scholar Brihaspati and can explain any portion of the Shastras very nicely. Yet, your explanation is more or less based on academic education only. But there is another explanation besides the academic scholarly one." Then, at the request of the Bhattacharya, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the Atma Ram Shlok. The words of the verse were analyzed thus: 11 words, Atma Ramaha, Cha Munayah, Nirgranthaha, Api Urukrame, Purvanti Ahaitukim Bhaktim, Itham Bhuta Gunaha, and Harihi. This verse has already been explained in connection with the Lord's teachings to Sanatan Goswami. We saw it in the previous chapter. Without mentioning the 9 explanations, so then Bhattacharya gave 9 explanations. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not even touch those 9 explanations. Apart from that, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained the verse by analyzing these 11 words. And in how many ways? 18. In this way, he expounded 18 different explanations of the verse. In summary, he said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is full of innumerable potencies. No one can estimate how many transcendental qualities the Supreme Lord possesses. The qualities of the Supreme Lord are always inconceivable. Nobody can understand. Nobody. And all the processes of self realization inquire in a general way into the potencies and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any process of self realization you take, there is a general path given, but everything in some way or the other will give way or make way towards explaining or towards revealing the potencies and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, where is the question of self-realization? Self-realization means only understanding position of myself, my relation, how to get to that, and then how to achieve the highest in this life. That is the whole purpose of self-realization. So self-realization, any process of self-realization will ultimately lead to these things, the potencies and the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that one can understand, one gets attracted, and one jumps onto the devotional service of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose. And through devotional service to the Lord, one should be able to get love of Godhead. But the devotees of the Lord immediately accept the inconceivable position of the Lord. If you go and tell a devotee, once Narad Muni was instructed by Lord Vishnu that, okay, go, there is one So Narad Muni can go anywhere in all the planets. He can just go without a visa, without any vehicle. Also, he just travels, flies, and goes anywhere. So there he goes to this one. What is it? Mochi. What is mochi called in English? Cobbler. So he was doing his work, and he sees Narad Muni and very respectfully offers his obeisances, and he says, Shri Narad Muni, see, you are very dear to the Lord, and you can meet the Supreme Lord anytime and anywhere, you know. You have all the, so if you next time meet my Lord, then please can you ask him that when will I be able to get his darshan, when will I be able to go back to him. So Narad Muni says, okay, I will ask him. Then again, Narad Muni keeps walking and goes ahead. And there he meets a Brahmin who was doing Archa Vigraha, doing deity services, puja, part, and everything. And Narad Muni, after seeing Narad Muni, this Brahmin also very respectfully offers his obeisances and says, oh, Narad Muni, you are so dear to the Lord. You know, you can meet the Lord anytime and anywhere. So, if you happen to meet the Lord, can you please ask on my behalf, when will I get to see my Lord face to face? So Narad Muni says, yes, of course. Uh, and then he goes and he meets Lord Vishnu, and then he says that I met these two, one Brahmin and one cobbler, and they have asked this question. So Lord Vishnu, he says, he smiles and he says that, okay, you tell the cobbler that at the end of this very lifetime, he will come to me and he will see me face to face. I'm waiting for him. And so Narad Muni becomes very, very happy. Wow, how fortunate this cobbler is. And then Vishnu, he again smiles and says, and okay, you tell the Brahmin that he will need another 100 births. Narad Muni is shocked. What? Vishnu, what are you saying? He's a Brahmin and he is doing your worshipping you and doing everything. But he will take 100 births. Why Vishnu ji? Why Lord Vishnu? Why is it like that? So Lord Vishnu says, okay, you want to understand why? Fine. Do one thing that when you go back to the cobbler and you tell him, because he is going to ask you when he sees you again, he will ask you that did you meet my Lord? What did he say? Did you ask him the question? He's going to ask all these things. So when you meet him next, you tell him that yes, I met Lord Vishnu, but he was busy. So so he's he said that you tell him that I was busy, and he will ask you what I was doing, and you tell him that I was actually inserting an elephant through the eye of a needle. You see the needle, tiny needle with a small hole where we put the thread for stitching. That needle, and Vishnu was putting the elephant through that small hole of the needle. So Narad Muni says that what has this to do with? So Vishnu says you just do what I'm saying, and the same thing you do when you meet the Brahman, and you will get your answer. Okay, fine. Narad Muni again goes back, and then again this cobbler sees Narad Muni very respectfully, and he's now very happy. Now he's going to get his answer, so he's so happy. Again, he offers his respectful obeisances to Narad Muni, and then he says that, Narad Muni, did you meet Lord? Did you meet my Lord? And were you able to ask him the question? So he says that, yeah, he was little busy actually. Oh, what was my Lord doing? What was Lord Vishnu doing? He was busy. So Narad Muni says that, yeah, actually, he was, he was passing the elephant through the eye of the needle. Oh, my Lord is so inconceivable. My Lord is so amazing. He can do anything. And this cobbler, he starts jumping, paying his obeisances. He's so happy hearing the activities of the Lord. And Narad Muni is shocked. Is he mad or what? He's so he says that. You really think that that this is possible, that Lord was doing this? He says, why not? My Lord can do anything. He has created me, he has created you, he has created all these trees, and he has created so many fruits. From a seed the trees come out. He has created this entire world. What is impossible for my Lord? Everything is possible. So Narad Muni says, oh, okay. Then he goes to the Brahmin And the Brahmin also pays his obeisances, very happy to see him. And the Brahmin says, Did you get a chance to ask my Lord? He says, Yeah, but he was little busy. Oh, what was he doing? My Lord was busy. What was he doing? Yeah, he was actually passing this elephant through the eye of the needle. What? Narad Muni, are you sure that you actually are able to meet Lord Vishnu? How is it possible that an elephant will pass through the eye of the needle? And Narad Muni immediately understands what is important: faith in the words of Guru Sadhu Shastra. One who does not have faith in the words of Guru Sadhu Shastra, they will never come to the point, to the platform where they will have that complete faith in the potencies and qualities of the Supreme Personalities of Godhead, Personality of Godhead. Why? Because Sadhu Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra, they will only tell you what is mentioned here because they have realized. They are all self-realized. Guru and Sadhu, they are self-realized. If they are not self-realized, they are not Sadhu, they are not fit to be Guru. And self-realized means one who has understood the potencies and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have complete faith in the words of the Shastra, and who are giving the knowledge of the Shastra to everyone. So Narad Muni understands why Lord Vishnu has said 100 lifetimes for this Brahman and this very lifetime for this cobbler. He's not even, he doesn't even have time to do any worship of the Lord externally, but internally, he has complete faith, he's completely surrendered, he's completely um, he is constantly in remembrance of the Lord. He loves the Lord and he believes in the potencies and qualities, that the potencies and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are inconceivable. Who am I to conceive? Understand all this? I am no one. So, like that. But again, why did I come to this point? I don't remember. So, his qualities are always inconceivable. And yeah, the devotees of the Lord immediately accept the inconceivable position of the Lord, just like this cobbler. He is a devotee. He has faith in the words of Guru Sadhu Shastra. He has faith that his Lord is inconceivable. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that even great liberated souls like the Kumars and Shukdev Goswami were also attracted to the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord. So we will pause here for today. But I request somebody to remind me. I want to take it up from here. And I also want to, in the same context, because I have received some questions regarding a pastime of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from more than one devotee. And it's a common question. Therefore, I want to address this question in the class itself. And I don't, because I may not get chance to reply it one by one to everybody. So I will address it in the class itself. Either tomorrow or Krishna willing, whenever it happens. In the because it's very much in context to what we are reading now. So either tomorrow, day after, whenever it works out, based on time, I will take up that question. That why Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rejected a devotee. Because if we do not understand the inconceivable position of the Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different. He is Krishna himself. If we don't understand that the Lord's plan is always perfect, that means if we have, there is lack of faith in the words or the plans of the Lord, then we will not be able to ourselves practice Krishna consciousness with that faith. And therefore, whatever we are doing will keep, there will be many ups and downs in it. Therefore, we should understand this is a very, very important point, that the devotees, they always accept the inconceivable position of the Lord. What does that mean? There is so much depth in this one line, that the plan of the Lord is always perfect. And how it is perfect, we'll discuss that in on based on the pastime. of the personal servant who accompanied Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the south, and what happened with him, and what did the Lord do, and why he did it. To understand that, Krishna willing, again, either tomorrow or day after, I do not know when it will happen, but I will try to take up that query. So, thank you very much, dear devotees, for your kind association. वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री श्रीमद शीला जय पताका स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। हिताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
हरी हरी बोल।